back to the Kosi Arsenal channel. My name is Kosi. Welcome back to a brand new video. There is a lot of talk about Arsenal getting a very big window, but of course, in the last few days, it's been shrouded in just Arsenal signing a main striker. However, we are also looking at other targets, and we are also looking to bolster other positions. Like Mikel Arteta said, we need to increase our options, not only in attack, but also other areas. So in this video, let's dive into the latest around Arsenal in all the things that are happening around the club, not just the striker. We'll also talk about some of the striker elements in this one as we talk about Matheus Cunha, who is going to be available for 55 million, and Arsenal are a big fan. So should we go for Matheus Cunha? Let me know in the comment box below. What are your thoughts on him? In January, we were really interested, but of course the summer changes things. In the summer, you have a lot of options to choose from. I mean, the likes of Šeško are going to be available, the likes of Isak could be available, and the likes of Viktor Gyökeres are definitely available. So does the Matheus Cunha deal still count as relevant for Arsenal? Let me know in the comment box below. Now, the first big news is that Andre Bata was announced as Arsenal sporting director officially, and he's begun his work already. One of the things that he has actually begun with is telling Arsenal there is a guy in Portugal called Viktor Gyökeres, and talks have started. Now, Arsenal are not leading the race at the moment. We are not really in any position to say the least, but we are there, and is one of the targets that we had left out and now has been included into our shopping list. Mikel Arteta, of course, is one of these managers that are really stubborn, and he believed that Viktor Gyökeres has some elements in his game that doesn't fit his system. Now, Andre Bata coming in, he's talked to the manager, he's talked to the management, and he has convinced them that if you really want a good number 9, if that's what you're looking for, Viktor Gyökeres is one of the best. Now, for me, Andre Bata, obviously, we've been very excited about his arrival, and now it is finally done. So we're going to be hearing a lot of stories now dealing with personal terms maybe being agreed, maybe talks ongoing, since we have our own sporting director in that main role. So I'm very excited to see what Bata can do. There's a lot of talk about him being a very good guy in the striker market. There's a lot of talk about him being a very experienced guy. Actually, in Italy, he is called the miraculous Bata, a guy that can actually do miracles and wonders for your squad. Now, Arsenal have already agreed personal terms with Martin Zubimendi. This has been confirmed this week as well by Jacob Benz. The player is going to sign a 5-year deal with Arsenal. That is not changing. Although Real Madrid are there, they're trying to shake the mango tree. At the moment, it kind of feels like Arsenal are in a very good position. Now, when you agree personal terms with a player, they can still be taken. But what that gives you is a bit of warranty or guarantee that if nothing changes, you're going to sign that player. Now, we have an agreement in principle with Real Sociedad as well, but we also have an agreement in principle with another Spanish player, and that has been revealed this week, and that is Joan Garcia. Now, David Ornstein, revealing this story, said, I'm not really sure if this one is done and dusted, but Joan Garcia wants Arsenal. Mikel Arteta wants him as the top priority to be second to David Raya, and we agree. And we understand there is an agreement in principle between the two parties. So this one is a one where I can look at it and say it's also very close to being done. Now, with the Joan Garcia one of yours, of course, the couple of other clubs that are looking for strikers on the market. I think Manchester United could be a threat. I think Chelsea could be a threat. There's so many other clubs on the market that are not 100% sure about their first choice goalkeepers, let alone second choice goalkeepers. I think if this is uninterrupted, I think this one is where Arsenal have also gone ahead to agree personal terms with the player, get an agreement in principle, just like with Martin Zubimendi, and these ones should be easy. In fact, I'm going to make a prediction that by the time we enter July, I mean, June is usually where you have the window opened up. It's going to open up on June the 10th, right? Officially. I'm going to make a prediction that by the time we get to July the 1st, Martin Zubimendi will be an Arsenal player, and so will Joan Garcia. Unless Arsenal decide that these are the deals we want to do last, according to our pecking order. And that could be available and that could be done because of finances. Mikel and Bata might decide that our priority is a striker. Without Pata leaving yet, maybe you don't spend 70 million euros on Zubimendi first. You spend 70 million euros on Gyökeres first. And when you have finished everything that you want to do, and maybe Zubimendi could come in last, but I think that would be risky. If you've gone in January and convinced the player and convinced Real Sociedad as well that you are the real deal, you better go and get this deal done as quickly and early as possible. But that is one of the things that I wanted us to talk about. Personal terms, I agree with two players in Spain. Joan Garcia, very interesting goalkeeper. We're going to do an analysis on him, why Arsenal wants him. One of the goalkeepers that you can look at as a young goalkeeper and say he's very good with his feet and he was made for modern football. Matheus Cunha, again, one of the very technical defensive midfielders in the world right now. Very, very aggressive on the ball, very smart on the ball. Decision making is top class. And I think with Mikel Arteta being Spaniard and also, Zubi being Spanish, they actually speak the same language and they understand the same system. I'm not surprised Zubi has not gone to Liverpool and he's decided to go to Arsenal. When I look at how Arsenal play and how Spain play, I think there are very many similarities. Now, of course, Spain under the new manager have a different approach. They're very quick, they're very agile, and they don't always keep the ball a lot of the time. But I think with Arsenal, that is going to start happening very soon. If we can add a player like Nico Williams or Isak or Gyökeres, our build-up play is going to start to loosen up a little bit, and you're going to see a bit of flowing football from Arsenal. Now, of course, he's not going to be earning a very bad salary. It's going to be a very good salary. He's one of the players that Mikel Arteta has always wanted. Let's wait and see where that one is going to end up. However, in terms of attacking midfield, I've already said on this channel that I really want an attacking midfielder. Arsenal are also confident they can get the 15 million deal for Sivian Naipan done. In January, we tried to get the deal done. Obviously, he was seen as one of the players that could come in and straight away, at his young age, just 17, 18, walk into the Arsenal starting 11. Probably walk into the squad since we were thin. A deal was negotiated, but it never happened. It was reported by David Stein that Arsenal were pushing and pushing and pushing to get the deal done. And Sivian Naipan, at his age, is looked at as a Mesut Ozil, one of the young prodigies in Norway. Arsenal are really serious about getting that deal done. But what I want to say about Sivian Naipan is the deal is in good condition. That is, very, very nice. But it points to where Arsenal are heading. And I'm trying to say the direction in which our summer is going to go. It's going to be fully action-packed when it comes to attacking talent. Think about it. Nico Williams, over and over again, linked with Arsenal, and so is Isak, now Gyökeres, Jonathan David, Benjamin Sesko, Sivian Naipan, and a couple of others. It looks like this summer is just about attacking talent. And I couldn't agree with more with Bata, with Arteta, and whoever is pulling the strings within Arsenal and the transfer room. Our biggest problem this season has been shortage of attacking options. Raheem Sterling, although he has not suffered very many injuries, he hasn't come good. And this season, where you would have wanted Martin Odegaard to score 15 and maybe Gabriel Martinelli to score 15, they've been typically underwhelming. So I'm not surprised that we're just focusing on boosting attacking options. So Sivian Naipan is one of those options that I think Arsenal should really look at, but also think he points to a very interesting idea and concept. Could Arsenal be interested in getting a number 10 in this transfer window after all? Now, I could be too optimistic, and that usually happens to people like me, but I also think that it's a necessity that we actually look into that direction. Why? Why would we go out of a summer where we've got a good striker, but we've not signed players that can service that striker? It wouldn't make any sense. Now, of course, when it comes to Sivian Naipan, he's just young. 15 million would be a good deal, but I don't think it comes in straight away to create this kind of magic that we want. I think we need to look at an older player, maybe a player around 23, 24 years, can come in and challenge Martin Odegaard, can come in and challenge Declan Rice, and possibly throw one of them out of the starting 11. I mean, I would love our midfield to look like this. When you look at Spain right now, this is the midfield they line up with, and it is beautiful. It is very well balanced. They must have the best midfield right now in the world in terms of being balanced. They have Pedri, who can do that kind of 8, but very, very creative as a 10. Then you have Matheus Cunha or Rodri sitting at the best of that midfield, pulling all the strings, and just, he's just this giant machine that just allows everything to happen through him. But also, they've got that classic creative number 8 that runs the show, runs up and down the pitch, picks up the ball, looks for spaces, and shoots from afar in Fabian Ruiz. So when you think about the Spanish midfield, that is what Arsenal need to be getting. Declan Rice at the best of that midfield, or definitely Declan Rice could be our Fabian Ruiz. He's got the energy to run, up and down the pitch. He's very creative these days, and he's also scoring goals. So even if you don't get a Fabian Ruiz, Declan Rice can do that job very well, and we have seen him do it before, for Arsenal at least. Of course, at the best of the midfield, Martin Zubimendi is coming in, and Martin Odegaard could be that creative player. But in games where the creativity is not coming out, could we swap out Martin Zubimendi? Rice dropped to the edge of the to the bottom of the midfield, and then we bring in a number 10. We bring in a number 10 like maybe Naipan, maybe Ryan Shaki, just to create things, just to make things happen. I want you to know your thoughts, but I really like the Naipan deal, and I hope Arsenal continue to look at attacking midfielders as well. Now the striker deals are heating up as well. With of course we like Florian Wirtz, but Arsenal this week have been reported to be interested in Victor Gyökeres, and that means now it makes around 4 or 5 strikers that we are strongly interested in. That is Gyökeres, Šeško, Isak, Jonathan David, and Brand Wemo. There is also the aspect of Lautaro Martinez, but we don't know whether that is really concrete or it was Italian excitement that an Italian is taking over at Arsenal. But at the moment, looks like the striker deals are heating up. There is also talk about Hugo Ekitike, and we're going to do a whole video analyzing all the strikers that Arsenal are linked with and marking them from 0 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10. We want to see who is the best fit for Arsenal's needs right now. Remember to subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to be doing a series where I'm going to analyze player per player that is linked with Arsenal. Strengths, weaknesses, how they fit to Arsenal, and how their value will add to Arsenal's team as we look to win the Premier League next season. Now, I want us to talk about Matheus Cunha as well. A story came out last week that Matheus Cunha has decided to leave Wolverhampton Wanderers. He's got a release clause of 55 million, and this summer it's going to be over. I'm going to tell you something. I can see Matheus Cunha at Chelsea. Now, Matheus Cunha is one of the players that are really interesting in this market. In January, Arsenal were really dying to sign him, but we knew that it was close to being impossible. His parent club, that is Wolverhampton Wanderers, were very sure they didn't want to sell, and they made it very clear that whoever wanted him was going to have to pay above 60 million or wait until the summer. The player signed a new deal, and he's got a release clause of 55 million this summer. So should Arsenal look in that direction? In my opinion, yes and no. Yes, because you don't want to sign one striker, you want to get 2 strikers. If you can get Gyökeres and maybe Matheus Cunha, it makes sense. Cunha is a little bit versatile. He doesn't really mind where he plays. He could play on the left wing, on the right wing, down through the middle. He can do the job. He can also play as a second striker, just like Brand Wemo, and he will thrive. But why I'm saying no is this. I kind of feel like if there is a player like Jonathan David on a free, and Victor Gyökeres on 70 million euros or less than that, I think it's smart for us to get Jonathan David and also get Victor Gyökeres on 60 million euros. It's a much better deal. It makes more sense for us to do that. And then finally, I also think that Matheus Cunha is a bit overpriced. I kind of feel like he might not be able to do that big jump. I look at him as a Gabriel Jesus, where he's going to carry his numbers 15, 13, 17 goals per season and bring them to a club like Arsenal and not improve. I can see him at a club like Newcastle. I can see him at a club like Brighton. I can see him at a club like Aston Villa, though. Especially with Villa not having Duran anymore. I can see them splashing about 50 million on Matheus Cunha, and I can see it work out. Now, there is also the Sane deal, and I think the big question about Leroy Sane, I'll do a video that comes out today as well on Sane, is the Leroy Sane deal a snub for Nico Williams? Are Arsenal trying to do the Sane deal and trying to avoid the Nico Williams deal? Personally, I don't think so. I think Sane and Williams have all been long-term targets for Mikel Arteta, and if you're going to get the Sane deal done, we might as well get the Nico Williams deal done. I want to say it makes a lot of sense for me for Leroy Sane to join Arsenal. He's older, experienced, and he's one of the players that are really versatile. I mean, as he's grown older, number 10 has been looking very good for him, but when he was a little bit younger, we know what he could do. He was devastating on the flanks as well. Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast, and I'll see you right in the next